Mike Diamond, thank you so much for joining me today from Utah.
That's right.
Excellent. We know each other because we worked on a mutual client who moved from Orange County, California, to your part of Utah. So, is that Park City?
That's Park City. Although, she is. She's living in Park City now. She was living in a little cabin out in Oakley, which is about 20 minutes outside of Park City, which is it's mostly weekend cabins that people have. Very few people live out in this little cabin community year round, full time. But she
Hmm.
chose to, and after about a year of doing that, coming from where was she at? Was she in Huntington before? Is that where
Yes,
she was at?
Huntington
And yeah,
Beach.
coming from there, she decided to move up to this little cabin, this little canyon with a bunch of weekend cabins. And after about a year to that, she said, I think I want to move back, closer to town and amenities. So she moved into Park City, and that's
Oh,
where.
very nice. Very
Yep.
nice. Do you find that you have a lot of Californians moving to Park City and Salt Lake and surrounding areas?
I mean, I don't do a lot of Salt Lake, but from our clients, buyers and sellers are probably 95% out of state.
Mm.
So and California is our biggest feeder market.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I'd say our three biggest feeder markets are California, Texas, and Florida, and with California being number one.
Oh, neat.
And I
Well,
wouldn't say that post during COVID a lot lived came out to Park City full time or Utah full time.
yep.
Now it's back to kind of mostly vacation homes and second homes and things like that.
Oh, very nice. So, did you say that 95% of your buyers and sellers are from out of state?
They're 95% of my clients are second home or investor clients. They're from out
Oh,
of state. Yep, we deal with a very small percentage of full time residents, or I do.
interesting. Interesting. Yeah. And why do you think that is? Is it because you guys are a resort?
No, and I'm not saying there are a lot of full time residents in Park City, and there's different neighborhoods. Park City, I grew up. I'm from Southern California. I'm from Manhattan
Mm.
Beach, so I grew up skiing Mammoth and Tahoe, and Park City is not like a Mammoth. It's there are different neighborhoods. There's 5 elementary schools. There's 2 junior high. So it's a decent sized town, and so you have full time neighborhoods where people live more full time, and then you
Hmm.
have neighborhoods that are more vacation homes and investors. And I found that that's kind of been my niche, is dealing with more towards the second home, vacation homes, and investment properties. And not that we don't deal with any full-time residents, I do, but
Hmm.
mostly second home. And it's
Oh,
it's
very
more fun.
interesting.
I enjoy that more now that
Yeah.
when I was in California, I dealt with full-time residents and primary residents. It, it it's it's fun dealing with people who are coming out to Park City for the lifestyle and for the enjoyment, and no matter what they do, and whether they're in New York or LA, and they're an attorney or stockbroker, regardless of their profession, when they're in Park City, they're there for the lifestyle, and they just kind of take a deep breath and let everything go and relax. And this it's
I
fun.
like
It's
that.
fun seeing people
Yeah.
just kind of unwind.
Sounds like you did real estate work in California before you moved to Utah.
I did. I was with the company you're with now, but when it wasn't called Vista Sotheby's, and it was initially Peninsula Sotheby's.
Right.
And I was, probably one of the first 10 people there. I lived in Palos Verdes,
Hmm.
and it was like me and Rick and Gerard and Chris Adlam, and Lily Lang was there then, and Mark Stoll, and there was just a handful of us.
Wow.
I was one of the first ones there, and I was with them until I moved to Utah in 2014.
2014. Wow. Small world, huh?
Yep,
We know the
yep.
same people.
We
That's
know a lot of
great.
the same
So,
people.
yeah. So you did the exact same thing that a lot of, people that live in Utah have done, and that is moved from California. What prompted that decision to make the move from Manhattan Beach to just to where you are now?
So I grew up skiing and surfing,
Mhm.
and it turned out I never skied Utah, and I had a couple clients who had homes in Park City, and just around 2010, 11, and a couple of them were just like, hey, you ever want to come out to Utah, come out to Park City, we have homes, and we rarely use it like a lot of Park City people do, Park City owners do. We use it
Mhm.
2 or 3 weeks a year, and it sits there the rest of the time. So I went out a couple times and I was like, wow, Park City's kind of awesome. And then went out there in the summer and I was like, wow, it's amazing in the summer. Great golf courses and great trails and fly fishing and lakes. And in the summer of 2013, I was out in the summer with a buddy of mine from Newport Beach. He lived
Mm-hmm.
in, shoot, what's it called? Little gated community in the harbor by the water. I forgot the name of it, but he had sold
Huntington
his
Harbor or
what?
no?
No, he was in Newport
Newport. Oh, okay.
Bay
Uh-huh.
Shores. He lived in Bay Shores,
Oh.
um, and he had sold his company recently and was building a new home like right on the ocean. And we went out there in the summer of 2013 with our families and played golf and hung out and just did the Park City summer thing. And came back to California. And a month later, he called me. He said, "Hey, we're going to fly back out there and go look at homes. We're gonna move out there."
Mm.
And, and I was like, really? I'm like, well, you're building your dream home on the water. I go, what are you going to do with that? He said, I'm going to finish building it and sell it. And, he's like, I've been in California my whole life and kids are young. So we're going to give it a try. And so my response was, you know what? I've been in LA my whole life too. And if you do it, I go, I'll move out there with you. And that was in like September of 2013 and moved to Park City May of 2014.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I'd leave Southern California.
You had
Yeah,
no plan to do that.
no plan. Wasn't looking to move. I was, like most people from Southern California, like, yeah, California has its problems, but what's better than California? You got the weather, you got the beach, we all kind of live in our little bubble, like down in the South Bay or wherever you're at, and never thought I'd leave. But I always loved Park City. Grew up surfing Hawaii. I always wanted to move to Hawaii because I loved surfing there. But I was like, yeah, you can never really live here and make a living or anything. I thought that'd be too hard. But Park City, I remember thinking, I can maybe live here. It's a great, it has everything you want for the outdoors and lifestyle except the ocean. And
Right.
so yeah, did it and haven't regretted it. Haven't.
That's amazing.
Yep, it was
That's
not
great.
not planned, not looking to get out of California. It happened just like that.
Just happened, and it's something in your body and mind was good with it. It sounds
You
like.
know what? It's funny. As much as I've always been drawn to the ocean, I love the ocean, scuba diving, and I don't really surf anymore, but I'll fish and dive and be out in boats. Once I got more in the mountains, not just skiing in the winter, but in the summer, more hiking and camping and getting backcountry, I was like, you know what? I almost feel like I'm more drawn to the mountains than I am the ocean, and I've always been
Ah,
drawn to the ocean. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out.
absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like we need nature. And when you're in Southern California, there is no nature except for the beach. We don't have a forest. It's all kind of freeways,
It's a
very
bit of a
built
drive.
out.
You can get to it, but you're driving a bit.
Right. It's not close. The closest nature we have in Southern California is the beach. So everybody thinks, I must love the beach, but probably what our mind and body crave is nature. And you're getting a ton of that where you are.
I think that's right. I mean, there's trails in Park City. You can go up above the Montage and you're in Guardsman's Pass and you're out away from the crowds. And even though you're a mile from the Montage, you're in the middle of just the mountains away from everything. You can drive
Mhm.
20 miles, or 20 minutes, I'm sorry, like east of Park City. And then you're in the Uinta mountain range, which is just a massive mountain range that goes all the way to the Colorado border with you can be out there for as long as you want, get away from all humans if that's what you wanted. So it's
Right.
aside from all the stuff in and around Park City, it's a very short drive just to be completely as secluded as you want to be.
Very nice. Very nice. So tell me a little bit about the real estate in Park City.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty vibrant real estate market. There are, like I mentioned before, there's different neighborhoods in different areas. There's neighborhoods where it's more full time residents with families and kids and schools. There's multiple elementary schools, like I said, and those are mostly single family home neighborhoods. But
Hmm.
then there's the whole like resort more areas that are Canyons Village area, Old Town, which is where Main Street is by Park City's main base, and then the
Hmm.
different areas at Deer Valley. And then I don't know if you're aware of this, but Deer Valley is doing a massive expansion. Um,
Hmm.
so it's the largest expansion of it's doubling the skiable terrain of Deer Valley. It's on the east side of the mountain. There's a whole new ski village base called Deer Valley East Village, and
Hmm.
that it's. I think the 2034 Olympics are coming up, so it's getting a lot of press because of that. But in the East Village, you have the Grand Hyatt has already opened up. They're currently under construction for the Four Seasons Deer Valley and the Waldorf
Mm-hmm.
Astoria Deer Valley. And the Amman is going to start construction in about 3 years to be there also, the Amman Deer Valley. So there's a lot going on aside from just all the, normal Deer Valley, and Park City real estate. This whole expansion, this whole new ski base is pretty amazing. And the price points are, reflected as well. They're not light, and that not everybody can afford those. But the great thing about it is right on the other side, a short distance, like that, where the new expansion is right by this lake called the Jordanelle, which is 10 minutes from downtown Park City, Old Town. They're building all around the Jordanelle. So if you can't afford a Four Seasons or a Waldorf Astoria unit that are
Mm-hmm.
around $3,000 a square foot, plus or
Mm-hmm.
minus, you know,
Mm.
there's condos, townhomes, and single family homes that they're building less than 5 minutes from this new resort base right on the lake that are half the price, if not less.
Wow.
So there's, it really has price points for everyone. But what's
Excellent.
happening now? Yeah, the crazy thing about now in Park City, our market's been a little slow the last few months, especially with like the older homes and the resales. But the crazy thing is where it's been the strongest is the super high end stuff. That the super high end properties that are nice and ready to go. And you probably saw that new listing that we have in Promontory.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you. So there's
Yes.
there's a number of and it's in one of the amenity, I call them amenity clubs, but they're golf club communities, and there's four of them really in the outskirts of Park City they have golf courses and they have restaurants and
Mm.
pools, and, all different kinds of year-round amenities. Well, that kind of market, the super high-end market that with these, really done properties you can move in and start using tomorrow, that's where the market right now is the strongest.
Right.
The
Right.
really
And market. High
the
net
really
worth.
the high net worth buyers, I mentioned like the expansion of Deer Valley. So you're getting a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that are buying, pre-construction at like the Four Seasons and the Waldorf. So, which is a good thing, which we've seen a lot of people do, is you lock in your price right now. Construction's not done for 2 years. You're only paying 20% deposit down with the balance not due until construction's completed. And then, during that 2 years, the infrastructure is going to be continue to be developed and come out of the ground. The restaurants, the shops, the amenities are going to be built up. So by the time construction's completed, you can expect a good amount of appreciation for your unit that you didn't pay for during that time.
Right.
So
Right. And you can plan, right? And you
exactly, you
can
can
get
plan
your
ahead.
financing later, or you're buy it all cash.
That's right. I mean, with most of those are mostly cash deals, but there's, you can do financing in them. And there's some people that are buying them, at that price point, they're a lot of like owner user. But like I have a client who's closing next week on a property. He he put the deposit down 2 years ago. It's on the lake side, the Jordanelle side. He bought it, I think, for about $1,150,000 for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath condo. And this is 5 minutes at the most from the new Deer Valley base. He has like 8 other properties that he is, but he's an investor. He buys condos and rents them out around Park City. Well, he bought this one and he's like, you know what? He goes, I don't think I want to keep it. He's closing in a week, and he's like, we're just gonna put it right back on the market and he'll make a 20% return on it.
Wow. Because he bought
He
pre-construction.
bought it pre-construction.
He
He
put
locked it.
20% down for a purchase price of 1.15 million.
That's right.
And
And
that's
we'll sell it.
about,
We'll sell it for about one.
is that about $1,000 per square foot that he bought it at?
That sounds about right. I think it's right about a
Yeah.
thousand square foot. And
Okay.
yeah, like I said, he locked in his price pre-construction,
Yep.
and and so now he's come up with the remaining funds to close in about a week and a half, and
Mhm.
we're gonna close on it, and put it right back on the market for probably around $1,450,000.
Okay. Because he could see the value. He can
We
see
saw the Yeah,
what's happening.
we talked about where the value plays are and where the good investment plays are. And but I mean, it's like right now, like I've been telling clients I've been speaking with, because a lot of the other parts of Deer Valley, because there's all this hype going on about East Village and the price points are so high. You have now, like, Deer Valley has the three sections of the original Deer Valley are Lower Deer Valley, Upper Deer Valley, and Empire Pass. Well, Lower
Hmm.
Deer Valley has a lot of older condos that are closer to around 1,000 to 1,200 per square foot. They're going to be doing a major rebuild of that base is called Snow Park Village. They're going to be turning this whole parking lot that's there into a brand new resort village, walkable village over the next number of years. So I've been telling people, I'm like, you know what, with as expensive as the East Village is and the Four Seasons and the Montage and the Amon's going to be double the price of those, why don't you maybe buy one of these old condos for, $1,200 a square foot and hold it. And when that whole new ski village is done right across the street from your condo, you can expect the prices to go up like East Village is right now. Because you're
Right.
going to have a whole new, walkable ski village with new gondolas, shops, and restaurants. So that's where I think the future plays. If you don't want to spend, $3,000 for a Four Seasons unit or $6,000 per foot for a future
Yep.
Amman unit, which is
You can
crazy.
buy something a little older, but still great location.
It's the numbers that are going into East Village are making the other properties look reasonable,
Right.
I think.
Very nice. Very nice.
But and there's and that's just one section I'm talking about. The Park City market's it's a neat market. It's just it's again, I worked in California and Los Angeles area for a lot of years before I moved out there. It's
Right.
it's a really unique resort market that with the expansion and redevelopment of Salt Lake International Airport, with coming to Park City from Salt Lake Airport is 35 minutes without any stoplights, just on the highway the whole way. So we have a
Wow.
lot of people that were like either had previously been in Breckenridge or Vail or somewhere else, and then realize like, hey, the rental rules in Park City are pretty favorable to investors or people that want a short-term rent. You're not having to fly into Denver and drive 2 hours, and potentially get stuck in, an avalanche or road closure. You're flying to Park City direct from most, major, cities around the country, and you're 30 minutes on a 4-lane highway to get to Park City that never shuts down.
So it's something like Aspen. Is that a comparable?
Well, I mean, Aspen's tough to get to. Also, Aspen's the same as like Vail. It can be, there is a small Aspen airport, but not everyone flies into there, so it can be tough to get to. I think Aspen prices are still a little higher than ours. Thank
Right.
God.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've caught up to Aspen price wise yet.
So Park City has the lifestyle, it has the convenience of being a second home that people can fly in and fly out for the weekend or for a week.
I have a client today that flew in. They live in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
We just put their house on the market. They wanted to come check a few things out. They flew in this morning and they flew out this afternoon. You know,
Mm,
from Texas, it's just over 2 hours. From Southern California, same thing. You're looking at,
two
what,
hours.
about 2 hours.
Yeah.
We have direct flights from Florida, from New York, from everywhere around the country. And Salt Lake Airport is great. So, I mean, if you haven't been there for a while, what they've done with their expansion and the remodel, it's a phenomenal airport. Never any security lines, and the amenities there, the Delta Club and the Centurion Lounge, all those are all brand new and great.
That's wonderful. Sounds like the airport is kind of similar to Vegas in that it's very international. Is it international or?
It's international, yes. They have
Okay.
a lot of international flights, and thank God I've not been to Vegas in a while. I'm
Oh,
not good in
okay.
Vegas. I love Vegas too much.
Right, right. And for people who, don't like the desert, would rather have a cooler climate, Utah is a great place to retire.
It
Do you
can be,
find
yeah, for sure.
people retire out of California and go to Utah?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people, retirees, like I had a client we sold a place to, was from Seal Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't like the winters. They didn't want to be up in the snow. So they would spend the whole summer in Park City from end of May through September, and then they would rent it the rest of the year. And for people that are renting, that you're going to make 70% of your rental income between Christmas and the end of March. Those 3 months are going to make 70% of your rental income because of the ski season. It can rent year round, but the amount that you rent per night is that much higher in the winter and the ski months that you can, like, what they did is, they're going to make so much money during that time that if you use it the rest of the time, you're breaking out pretty good. So we have it both ways. We have people that,
Yeah.
from like Texas and Florida who do not want, don't like the summer heat. It gets really
Mhm.
hot and humid, both those areas. So they
Yep.
might come out a couple times in the winter to ski and they'll rent it the rest of the time, but they spend the whole summers in Park City because you have that cool, it's not, I wouldn't say cool. You'll have some times where it's, in the mid 80s, but there's no humidity. And like, there's a lot of, there's concerts, there's festivals, there's, like I said, there's trails for hiking and biking, there's fly fishing, there's whatever you want to do in the summer. You have options.
Right.
In the
Oh,
winter you ski. In the
right.
summer there's options.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a great balance. And it sounds like you can purchase the property as a hybrid property. It can double as a second home and investment property.
I think that's what most of our clients who do rent, there
Hmm.
are some, we do have some who are just straight investors. They just buy them and rent them. But they'll,
Yep.
I'd say majority of my clients will buy, use it, and when they're not using it, nightly rent it out, and make a good amount of money with that to cover, all their expenses, their property taxes, their HOA, their, if they have a mortgage, cover the mortgage, and then still get to use it, when they don't want it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that, Mike. I mean, it makes me really appreciate your area. And like you
If you haven't
said,
been there, you got to come
proximity.
out.
Yeah, I really
It's
want to come out and check it
and,
out.
and and I would just say this also, a lot of people, like we talked about the price points and all the new development. You could buy a condo in Park City for 300,000. We have a 2-bedroom condo we just put on the market, I think a week and a half ago. It's a two
Uh-huh.
bedroom, 2-bath condo for 550,000.
Right.
But or you could spend over 20 million. You can
Right.
go any direction you want,
Yes.
but it's not all 5 million plus properties. You can get a great condo like in
Hmm.
Canyons Village at Silverado Lodge for 700,000. That's,
Right.
100 yards from a gondola or ski lift. So
And
there's,
can you get a single family house if you wanted to be a year-round resident for around 1 million?
in certain parts of Park City, I would say
Okay.
yes. Like there's different areas, and one I would say if you went a little bit more towards Salt Lake, but still in Park City, but probably about 15 minutes to get to a ski
Hmm.
lift, you could get a single family for around 1 million in an area called
Very.
Summit Park. So
Okay.
you can get single families in that area, maybe Pine Brook at sometimes, but about 10 or 15 minutes, to get to like a ski lift. But yes, but you're going to get a lot more when you get to about 1,500,000 and up for a single family.
Okay. Great.
And
Well,
again, like I said,
thank
you can
you.
spend as
Yeah.
much as you want, or but you can get in the market at just about any price point.
Fabulous. You sound like a great person to know in the business since you yourself made that move and left the beach for the mountains.
I love the beach, but Utah's not a bad place to live, and being up in the mountains is pretty fun.
Pretty nice. And you can go and visit California anytime in 2 hours.
California's easy to get to. Shoot, I was just in Cabo 2 weeks ago, and it was a two
Oh,
hour flight to Cabo. So it's
2 hour flight to Cabo.
a 2.5 hour flight to Cabo.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Direct flights on Delta to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta if you want to go to Punta Mita, all that stuff. It's easy to you can get
Wow.
anywhere. Yep.
Fabulous. All right, then, Mike, I will be talking to a lot of my California people that are thinking about moving out of state and recommending you for Park City.
I appreciate that, Nancy, and thanks for the time and for the little interview today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.